Good morning. It's March the 11th, and this is hopefully the very last extreme cold warning walk around the lake that I have to do. And it is cold. It's minus 28 Celsius, or about minus 20 Fahrenheit. And wind chill, I'm told, is minus 38 Celsius, which is like minus 35 Fahrenheit. And yet tomorrow it's supposed to climb up above freezing, I think, and there's a big thaw in the forecast for next week. So this, with any luck, is the very last extremely cold walk of this winter. Of course, I've said that before, but it is March 11th. I mean, we're just 10 days from the equinox. But it'll be the last one. I couldn't find my long underwear this morning, so my legs are going to be cold. I guess I'll keep moving and they'll be okay, I hope. The sun is out, so that's something. I didn't walk yesterday. I was just too busy doing Kickstarter stuff, still working on that. More than halfway funded after just 3 days. Over $6,000 it went yesterday, with a $12,000 total. So if you haven't checked it out, it's at tinyurl.com/shapersofworlds3, numeral 3. And still lots of great backers rewards, and there'll probably be some more added as we go along. So in fact, I just put up a new one today, opportunity for have the first 50 pages of a novel critiqued by Gerald Brandt, who's a fellow Daw Books author, lives in Winnipeg. So that went up today. He's my featured author of the day. I'm featuring one author a day on Twitter and Facebook, and I need to get it on Instagram too. Of the 21 authors involved in the anthology. And this, of course, is the anthology anthology of science fiction and fantasy, featuring authors who are guests on my Aurora award-winning podcast, World Shapers. I've done this twice before. This is my third Kickstarter. I'm going to try a smaller Kickstarter. See if I can fund the writing of my own novel. I'd like to carry on I've gone back, I want to carry on the World Shapers series. But I'm actually going to, if I do a Kickstarter, I think the first one I'll do will be to carry on the Masks of Regina series, because those 3 books have been my most popular. They're written as E.C. Blake. Thought about doing a no talking walk, but I wanted to talk about the Kickstarter, so I decided I would talk. I did not try to plug in the external mic. It just doesn't work in the cold. But if it does go above freezing now after today, for the most part, I will try it again. That'll help me determine if it really is the cold. That's been the problem. Certainly, there seems to be some connection there. Ooh, slippery. I'm ashamed to fall down again. I fell down at the very beginning of the snow cover in November. I don't want to bookend the winter by falling down again. Also, when it warms up, I'll be more likely to walk every day. It was windy and blowing snow yesterday, and I had things to do, and I thought I'd do it later in the day, and then later in the day came and I didn't. I think it works best when I do the walk first thing in the morning, except on the weekends maybe. And when it's warmer, it's way easier to decide to go out in the morning rather than sitting in front of the fire with my coffee, which is what I could be doing right now. So yeah, the Kickstarter's 50% funded and still 27 days to go. So that looks promising, but I know from experience it'll be the doldrums here in the middle of the campaign. Some days it barely budges. And usually when you get close to the end, it'll pick up. However, if it funds earlier, that can actually help. One reason I put the funding level down a little bit this year to 12,000 instead of 15 or 16,000. It'd be nice if it could fund with a week or two left, and everything after that is gravy. You can see the ice there, gleaming. Decide which way to walk once I get up here. I think I'll go this way today, because I think I went the other way last time. Although I didn't walk last week around the lake, so it's actually been 2 weeks since I did this. So it's straight into the sun. Which is way brighter to me than it is on the screen. Looks like the path is well cleared anyway, since the last week's snow. One reason I didn't do it last week was we had just had 12 centimeters of snow, and I figured it would be very heavy going. But clearly they have scraped it since then. And it'll melt quickly. If it goes above freezing, this will melt off in a hurry. So the sun is higher and higher in the sky and gives more passive heating. Slippery though. Watch out for that. Morning. There's a lake under there, under all that snow. And for some reason, it's decided it's going to tilt the horizon. I don't know why. Got new cover art yesterday for one of the books that Shadowpaw Press is publishing this fall, The Emir's Falcon, by Matt Hughes. Matthew Hughes in his adult work, but he wanted Matt Hughes for the YA book this is. So I have my cover art for those two books. I've gotten grants to cover a production of audiobooks of each of them, which is cool. So that will release at the same time as the print books, which is nice. Now I'm waiting for the book production grant from Creative Saskatchewan to open for applications. And I'll be putting both of those books, the other one's called Thickwood, The Emir's Falcon, Thickwood, and Shapers of Worlds Volume 3. Try to get production grants for those to help cover the cost of getting them out. And I'll also have to think about opening up for submissions. I'm currently open to previously published novels through the Shadowpaw Press Reprise imprint, but I'm not open to new novels just yet. Oh look, first comment I get is a bot. Ignore it. It's quite slippery, I gotta be careful. It is one of the hazards of polishing it down when they clear it. just exposes the layer of ice that's at the bottom. I'm looking towards Willow Island there, underneath the sun. Excalibur is at the bottom of the lake over there, according to my books. That's where it ends up. Bit of a spoiler. Shards of Excalibur series. Last thing they do is throw it in the lake. They know where it is and they can always get it out. For the other books I wanted to write in that series, but again, that's also another possible Kickstarter, I guess. Shards of Excalibur, the new series. Hey, Roger. I'm not going to walk that way just yet. It looks like a slide. New swimming pool being built over there. I don't think it's going to be ready for first day of spring. Not that anybody's going to be swimming on the first day of spring in Saskatchewan. Warm enough as long as I'm walking. Hopefully tomorrow it warms up enough I can walk in just my leather jacket. I said, I hope this is the last extreme cold warning walk of the winter. I've done a considerable number of walks under extreme cold warnings. Not gonna take that shortcut either. There's a while in there. And as I always mention, this is where the aforementioned Shards of Excalibur series begins. And the Lady of the Lake from King Arthur shows up right there in the water, not in the ice. And two local teenagers get set on a quest to find the scattered Shards of Excalibur wherever they are hidden around the world. Fortunately, Ariane, the main character, is heir to the lady's power, which allows her to travel using water and clouds. That's how she gets around the world as required. Don't think I'll go up there just yet. Too much snow. haven't been entirely alone. I met 2 people early on, but other than that, nobody else is out walking in these temperatures. This temperature, so only one temperature. It's 6 weeks. This will all be turning green. All these bushes, trees. Usually at the end of May, everything's fully leafed up. Which is still 2.5 months away, so it's not like it's happening tomorrow. But it may start melting tomorrow. And my eyelashes won't freeze together like they are at the moment. Maybe my external mic will start working again. So I often mention that a song runs through my head whenever I walk. Today, it's When the Saints Go Marching In, of all things. And that's because I was listening to clips on a site called, I pronounce it Lilacs, it might be Lilacs, I don't know, L-I-L-E-K-S, James Lilacs. And great site. And he collects sort of mid-century things. And today he had clips of sort of little radio spots. Used to get usually with a choir singing WKRP in Cincinnati. Only this was for a real station. And one of them was set to When the Saints Go Marching In, and as a result, that song was running through my head. That car sitting there. There's the lake. There's the wind. I mentioned I couldn't find my long underwear this morning. My legs are reminding me of that fact. That's nature, of course, over there. First time I really felt the wind because it's blowing straight across the lake, so you can't see it. Who has seen the wind? You sure can't feel it. Who Has Seen the Wind is a famous novel by Canadian writer Edward Mitchell, who grew up in Weyburn, where I'm from. And so it's basically set in a fictitious version of Weyburn. They made a movie back in the 80s, I think. They filmed that in Arcola, which is a smaller town. That had more of the early 20th century feel to it still. I met W. Mitchell once. He came through town and gave a talk and reading for his new book at the time, which was called Roses Are Difficult Here. It's a set of berries. And I don't know if I interviewed him or just took his picture. What I remember about that is that the first white baby born in Weyburn was named Sadie Bowerman. And she went on to be a school teacher, and then she was still substitute teaching in the 80s, though she was in her 80s by then. And she had actually taught W. Mitchell as a kid. And so, it's like this clear. At that reading, she got after him for using swear words in his fiction. He was in his 60s at least. Maybe 70s back then. But she still got after him. She used to get after us too. She would send us letters to the editor after Weyburn Review, getting after us for not capitalizing the days of the week in the TV listings. It was just a style thing, you know, to make it a little more hip, I guess, and modern. And she used to say, if the newspaper can't even capitalize things properly, how do we expect students to learn how to capitalize things properly? That's probably at a point because most people. Now, no open water there today. So I just don't know. Why there was sometimes open water even in really cold weather. It has to be some sort of outlet, but from where? For why? I'm not sure. This will have a fountain in it, but it doesn't at the moment. It does have some nice drift, so you can see formed by the wind blowing under the bridge. It's an aeration fountain. And again, downtown is directly behind us at this point. Gotta keep moving, my legs are freezing. It goes fairly long. It doesn't cover my entire legs. So just keep the move on. Keep the move on. Very crunchy snow again today. You can see the drifts in the bushes there too. Wind blowing across the lake, piles up deep drifts along there. Nobody using boats yet, but soon the boats will emerge from these sheds, from the rowing clubs. Okay, walk down this way now. For an extra loop. This is where the boats are launched. First, these mountain ranges of snow, you have to know. You can see how the wind has sculpted the snow too into drifts. Okay, that was very much out of the way because this just brings me back to the path that I was on. And here's the Wascana Racing Canoe Club there. That rack is for canoes. Willow. Bar Willow up there. Restaurant. It's a very nice deck, which they've enclosed with a tent, so I guess you can eat out there even during the winter, but we haven't tried it. Canada Games Wascana Lake Center. This was built for the Canada Games in 2005, right after the lake was deepened. Again, no shortcuts. Gotta stick to the cleared path. Otherwise I'd walk through there. There's Bar Willow Eatery. It's a great deck because it has a view over the lake and the legislature, the sunset, eating supper there. I was watching a bit of Gabe. He's the walking commuter in New York. That kind of first got me twigged into the possibilities of live streaming a walk. And he had a no talking walk yesterday through Central Park, where there was a bit of snow on the ground, fresh snow. Rain was coming down, so it probably had been mixed rain and snow to start with. But what really struck us was there were what looked like cherry trees beginning to blossom. You think, here it feels like that's impossibly far away at the moment, even though I know it's not. Well, cherry blossoms are very late here. Like in April, they're blossoming in Victoria and Japan, places like that. We'll get them in June. The few cherry trees we have around. Siren somewhere. Legs are warmer now. I would not, having come out of the wind, but I'll probably pick up wind again here across the lake. I think it's coming down broad. We're right by us. Maybe it's the general hospital, maybe? I don't see it. It's over behind the bushes. Oh, it didn't go by us. This is going the other way. There's a lot of snow there because the water doesn't come right up to the landing quite that high. So there's some pretty deep snow in the lake. Knee deep at least. There's the North Street Bridge. You can see some exposed ice under there, all shiny and smooth. Here it just looks like a plain old snow, and some plain fresh snow. Oh, suddenly I have comments. Hello, Mariano. Yes, you're live right now. Hi in Vancouver. That was to Erwin. At the moment it's live, yep. As for wanting to walk here, as long as you dress for it, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing choices. So I've got my face covered. I should be wearing long underwear, but I couldn't find it. My legs are cold. My parka is warm enough when I'm walking. I've got a parka and then a sweater under that, so a couple of layers. And really heavy gloves, which actually don't do too bad a job. Gloves are never as warm as mitts because your fingers can't share warmth, but mitts are to be awkward with the gimbal. Also, I don't think I have a heavy pair anymore. For years I had a heavy pair of mitts, but they wore out eventually. They were kangaroo hide, I think. A gift from one of my brothers. Oh, there's the wind. Wind chill is minus 38 Celsius, or about minus 35 Fahrenheit this morning. Temperature is minus 28 Celsius, which is about minus 20 Fahrenheit. Quite minus 20, I think. The difference can only matter to, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, next week, if the forecast is right, this will all be slushy and sloppy and wet. Or possibly really icy if it's frozen overnight after thawing the day before. We'll see when the day comes. This should be the last gasp of really deep winter today. We'll probably get more snow. We'll have some colder days. Hopefully, this is the last minus 20 something we have to endure. I said that a couple of weeks ago when I was walking in an extreme cold warning. But no, it keeps coming back. It's been quite a cold and snowy winter. My eyelashes are freezing together in my right eye. Somebody's walked over there across the lake. that's an animal check. I'm not going over to the island because they don't really keep it clear in any fashion. There. Got my eyelashes unstuck. That was annoying. Because the warm air comes out from under my scarf. The scarf's covered in ice by this point. And my eyelashes and eyebrows got ice on them as well. There's that wind. And suddenly my legs are nowhere near warm enough again. That's moving straight across that expanse. The Expanse. We just finished watching The Expanse. I have to read the books now. In my copious spare time, which I have none. Everything I do involves reading books. Once I'm publishing, I have to read as well, so. Spot of ice. Just a spot of ice, a spot of bother. Yeah. It's slippery, that uphill path there. My shadow. Hello. The comment bot to be ignored. Wascana Rehab Center over there. I've walked by it many times on that side of the road. Move quickly here because that wind is really starting to get my legs whenever I'm exposed to it. Right now it's blowing in my face. As soon as I'm out of the wind, my legs start to warm up, but in the wind, the motion is not keeping them warm. Hopefully I'm not frostbiting anything. That's why I'm walking fairly briskly at the moment. Yeah, this looks less icy over here. Up to a point. Alright, what's that? How's the temperature? It's minus 28 Celsius, minus 20 Fahrenheit. The wind chill of minus 38 Celsius, minus 35 Fahrenheit. That's the temperature this morning. Extreme cold warning. Exposed flesh can freeze in minutes. I don't have much flesh exposed, but my legs need another layer, that's for sure. Which they don't have, so what I can do is keep going. Downtown again is in that direction. That's Spruce Island there. The one with the bridge back there is called Pine Island. Then we had Willow Island at the beginning of the walk. Probably about 15 minutes left, maybe 20. I'm sure I won't freeze to death. My legs won't fall off in that amount of time, surely. And no call me sure, I guess, I know. My eyelashes are freezing together again. Okay. This is a little more memorial over here. A lot of Ukrainians in Saskatchewan, and that's memorial to the last time the Russians killing Ukrainians on a large scale under Stalin, the genocide and for induced famine. Saskatchewan was the first jurisdiction to recognize that as a genocide, I believe. That monument's been there for quite a while. That's a very emaciated little girl representing the victims of the communist-induced famine in Ukraine in the early 20th century. This path will take us past the east side of the legislative building, kind of surprised I haven't had a low battery warning yet. The cold really drains it. Legs feel warmer though. I don't know what changed. Guess the wind is off of them. There's a lock over here, I guess. We're walking straight toward downtown at the moment. Now, I've often taken a shortcut that way. And again, no path. There's a fountain that will start soon enough. And there's the east end of the ledge. I think I will go down the road instead of sticking to the lake shore. It might be more sheltered. So up here, I take a walk down in front of the legislative building. And through what will be ornamental gardens, but right now, of course, are just snow, like everything else. So they stick up barricades up here. Not more sheltered. That's the wind directly in my face again. There's the ledge. Always looks nice in the morning with the sun from this direction. Looking down the sidewalk heading this way off. There's a sidewalk over here. Well, maybe I can get up onto it over here. I don't think I'll climb the mountains to get there. Lamppost to get out of the way. Better view. There we go. Saskatchewan Legislative Building. Look, it's still there. This will take us by the Queen's statue, the Queen, who seems to have shrugged off COVID, despite being 96 years old. Whatever she is. 96, I think. Just turned. About to turn. She's the same age as my mother, basically. So born in 26. Alright, so see the Ukrainian flag actually flying over there. This path is open, so these paths, I should say. I'll take this one so we can. There's the Queen. Ooh, there's some ice. She was here to unveil the statue or commemorate it. My daughter and I were standing right over here. She was 3 at the time. I was holding her hand. She gave flowers to the Queen. So I close enough to the Queen I could have shaken her hand, except I was busy taking pictures and she doesn't shake hands. I got a great picture of the Queen up close. I wasn't able to get Alice and the Queen in the same shot, but it was clear from the pictures that she was right there. And this was the last photos I had on the front page of the Weaver Review. Sitting down there because my mother still lived there, so there was a neighboring connection. It's unfortunate, of course, that Alice doesn't remember that because she was only 3 then. We remember. Another big old pile of snow. Ornamental gardens, not very ornamental. Walter Scott, first premier of the province, holding up plans to the legislature. Also looking a little cold. I portrayed him once, twice actually, for the Hill Company's centennial. They hired me to pretend to be Walter Scott. My premise was he borrowed H.G. Wells' time machine and come to the future to see how Saskatchewan had turned out. Went over so well here that the Hill Companies flew me to Calgary to do it there. That was fun because Premier of Alberta, Klein at the time, was in the audience, and I got to make a couple of Alberta jokes with him. That was fun. I was at one of the big Calgary golf clubs. It was nice to be flown, taken care of for that event. And to get paid too. Big fan of getting paid. Doesn't happen nearly often enough as a freelancer. There's the wind again. Just have to get down to the end of the bridge, back under the underpass. With subway. When we first moved to Saskatchewan, you'd hear these weather reports about the Winnipeg Street subway was flooded. I thought, I'm a little kid, right? Regina had a subway system? Wow. It's just an underpass. I don't know why they call it a subway. I don't know if people still call it a subway. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a subway under the main way, I guess. Railroad tracks. But I don't know if anybody else in the world has ever called that kind of thing a subway, except in Regina. We were also told when we moved up here that Saskatchewan didn't have tornadoes. However, Regina cyclone killed 20-some people in 1912 when it hit the city. Came right over the lake here, went that away. And it was, of course, a tornado. But for some reason it got dubbed Regina cyclone. And we were literally told when we arrived here from Texas, which of course we were very familiar with tornadoes, we were told, well, Saskatchewan doesn't have tornadoes. And in fact, Saskatchewan has quite a lot of tornadoes. It's just there's a lot of empty land, so it's very rare for them to cause any severe damage. Here's the ridge. Flying Ukrainian flag up there as well. Canada, Saskatchewan, Ukraine. Okay, goodbye to the lake. Oh, there's the low battery warning. I do hope this has been in focus all this time. Nobody said anything. I forgot to check when I started. On the very coldest walk I took, when the wind chill was The temperature was minus 34. The wind chill was in the 40s, maybe 50s Fahrenheit. The iPhone battery died completely before I made it around the lake, and so did the gimbal battery. So far the gimbal has held in since then, but on these cold days I do often see a low battery warning before I get to the end of the walk. If I went more than an hour, I'm sure it would die. Something else that will change soon, one hopes. Just a couple more blocks home. Coffee awaits. And my nice warm computer, which sits on my legs. Sounds like a very nice thing. I mostly work on a laptop, although I do have a desktop for some things. I like it for major desktop publishing jobs or designing covers and things. I use the bigger screen on the desktop Mac. I could use a new Mac. That one's quite old now. It works. Drift here. The laptop is a pretty new one. Unfortunately, I had to get a new one, even though I had one that wasn't very old, because it died. Alley, following the crescent, and we'll be done. This is Angus Boulevard, which takes me to Angus Crescent, one end of which feeds onto Angus Street. I presume they're all the same Angus, but I don't know why he got 3 different things named after him. And then there's Angus beef, but I don't think that's named after this Angus. Be careful on these icy ruts here. Leopold Crescent, nothing coming that way, nothing coming that way. Davin School dead ahead. Walking on nice dry pavement is much less tiring than walking on slippery pavement. You're always being careful and catching yourself. And way less tiring than walking in snow, which is really tiring. Almost there. Alrighty, I'll stop here. So, thank you for walking with me on what I hope is the last extreme cold warning walk of this winter around the lake or anywhere else. I really hope the next time I'm out here, it may even be above freezing, certainly warmer than now. So, thanks again. Bye for now.